What is up, you guys? Sesma coming at you here with a video, and today we're going to be taking a look at my Burning Abyss deck profile. Now, I've tested this deck of several 20-30 hours now. I got an understanding on how the deck works. If you guys want to see the definition of scrub, check out my video that I posted about the first time, like my first build of the Burning Abyss deck. I built Burning Abyss Phantom Knights. I got it for relatively cheap. And you could just see how awful I was at the deck. And you know, I've learned the ins and outs of the deck, how the deck works, what could you do, what cards are interesting to play in this deck. And for the most part, I think I came up with a pretty cool recipe for a going first Burning Abyss deck. And you know, I just want to say that, you know, after watching a few deck profiles, after watching a few here and there, getting advice from friends, you know, I finally understand how I can play the deck my way, how I can play the deck in ways I like. So just use my deck profile as a skeleton for any deck you may want to play. The deck is pretty powerful. Dante isn't the strongest monster in the deck, so shout out to that. So keep an eye out for that. In the main deck, of course. So let me know what you guys think of the deck after in the comment section below. But for the most part, let's get into it. I'll just briefly explain what each card does and what you can do like for each thing. So for the most part, all Burning Abyss, you have to understand, they can be special summoned if you can have no back row. Both effects can be activated in the same turn. So you can normal summon them, and then maybe, you know, if they get destroyed or anything happens, they go to the graveyard, they get their effects. But if you special summon them, they do not get their effects. I learned that the hard way at a tournament. I thought you could do that, and if you look at the video where I play my brother's my Musketeers with my brother's using them, I kind of like really did like some really bad misplays. For the most part, you live and learn, boys. But let's start it off with 3 Scarm. It's basically your searcher when it hits the graveyard. You could even search Tour Guide, but you can search any level 3 Dark Fiend. So you could either search a Burning Abyss, or most of the time you're going to be searching for Tour Guide. But you play 3 Scarm. Triple Farfa, and its graveyard effect is basically that when it hits the graveyard, you get to banish a face-up monster on the field until the end phase, which is pretty cool if you're trying to do damage. Let's say you mill it with Dante, you banish the monster that you have the least probability of getting over, and then basically just do some damage right there. For the most part, 3 Farfa is pretty cool, pretty good to mill, obviously. Next, I call this trio, it's the special summon trio. This guy, when he sends to the grave, special summon from hand, special summon from the deck, and Seer, special summon from the graveyard. So you play Libic, 1 Graph, and 1 Seer. Hopefully these guys come at 2 when that new Burning Abyss monster comes out. And I just want to, if you're a Burning Abyss player, I'd honestly recommend picking up Rescue Ferret right now, since it's at like $5, $5-6, because what most people don't understand is that when Cherubini comes out, Rescue Ferret is going to be such an expensive card because you can special summon your Burning Abyss monsters and just normal summon Rescue Ferret, tribute Rescue Ferret, and basically 2 more Burning Abyss monsters and to make into Cherubini if you already haven't made Cherubini. So let's say you open 2 Burning Abyss monsters and a Rescue Ferret, special summon both of those, make Cherubini, send something, normal summon Rescue Ferret, tribute Rescue Ferret, 2 Burning Abyss monsters, and maybe Cherubini's effect to send something to the graveyard. But yeah, Cherubini's going to be an awesome card and I can't wait for that. But you play 1 Rubik, he's just basically a tuner. Alec is like a solemn strike for the turn. Well, not a strike, it just negates their effects, like a Veiler when it's sent to the graveyard. And you play 1 Calcab, which is like your MST when it's sent to the graveyard. For the most part, that's that 3 lineup. We play double Barbar, because you want to manipulate the graveyard. You want to have a control of what you have in the graveyard, and he does burn damage, and he is the strongest Burning Abyss monster, which is pretty good for level 3, 1700. That's pretty beefy, man. 2 Fiendish Rhino Warriors, because when you send to the graveyard, you can send any Fiend type monster from your deck to the graveyard, except Fiendish Rhino Warrior himself, obviously. But Burning Abyss monsters can't blow themselves up when this guy is on the field, when he's present. So that's pretty cool. You can special summon your Burning Abyss monsters, normal summon Fiendish Rhino Warrior, and your Burning Abyss monsters won't be destroyed. Plus, your opponent can only target him for attacks and card effects, so that's pretty good. Offers some protection. And finally, to wrap it up for the little monsters, 1 Tour Guide. She is an instant Dante if her effect goes through. Plus, their effects are negated on the field, so whatever you special summon isn't negated in the graveyard, so that's important to know. So that wraps up our monster lineup. Let's get into the bigger monster lineup. I play 2 Vanity Fiend because, again, I said that this is a going first deck. You can special summon a Burning Abyss monster, then just tribute it for Vanity Fiend and maybe sit on it. Your opponent doesn't have an out to it. That's just kind of like something I like to keep inside the deck. It just keeps the deck like it keeps the deck strong, and it keeps it, you know, like from your opponent from beating you over like that easily. Vanity's Fiend is a pretty problematic card if your opponent doesn't have an out to it. Maybe they can't even kaiju is what I learned. So that's pretty cool. Vanity's Fiend, special summon a Burning Abyss. Maybe you have 3 Burning Abyss in her. Special summon 2 Burning Abyss. Make Dante mill. Tribute only. Special summon last Burning Abyss. Tribute it for a Vanity's Fiend. So that's pretty cool. I saw that from a deck profile on Team APS. That was actually really good, and I tested it myself, and I found out that 2 is a really good ratio because for the most part you're playing Desire, so you won't see 2 most of the time. I saw 1 to none, so that's really good. I really like Vanity's Fiend in this deck. Next for the MVP and the Big Mac Daddy, the Shag Daddy, we play BLS Envoy at the beginning because we play Dante's a light and most of these guys are dark, and we play Baylors and Ogres and Fairy Tale Snow. So for the most part, you can banish them to make this guy, and this guy's just an absolute beast. He wins games most of the times when he's out or when you special summon him. You're kind of in the driver's seat at that point. But yeah, I like BLS at 2 because that's a perfect ratio because you can mill him, or you could maybe mill him to make another BLS, or you most of the time will have things in the graveyard. 1 Dante is pretty much all you need to make this guy because you'll already have dark monsters in the graveyard. So 2 BLS is perfect for me. He attacks twice if he destroys. If he destroys a monster, he attacks again, and he can banish or face a monster. So, but he can't attack that turn. So that's still a pretty good effect. I love BLS. He's an absolute beast. 2 Veilers because Veilers become relevant again. I already told you guys. So if you guys are watching this, I had always said Veilers such a good card, super underestimated, and I'm just glad it's back in the metagame. People are already playing it. Heavy Metal Foes, Electromite, and all that. All those other shenanigan cards, but it actually stopped me from getting OTK'd by Pendulum FTK, so that's pretty good. You play 2 Ogres because again they become relevant and they are BLS targets. You can send them to the graveyard, and if you have BLS in hand, banish a light and a dark or some BLS. But for the most part, you get your most out of these cards by playing BLS because you'll use them, then you have resources in the graveyard to use them for BLS, or yours truly. Hers truly, Fairy Tale Snow, because you can banish cards to special summon her. She's such a disruptive card. She is so awesome. I never understood how good she was until I started playing her. But other than that, I'm just super happy that I'm playing Fairy Tale Snow. She is really good. Plus 1850 attack. Should just made her 1900. Like, it's such a weird, like, subtracting all that. And then we play 2 Mass Change because you can discard a card, special summon a Dark Law, and actually play Koga in the deck because we do have light targets and you want to have them. The extra deck, you don't really need that much for the extra deck. But yeah, I play Koga and Dark Law, such a beast of a card. Ganks cards are your opponent's card when he adds, and pretty much everything in his field banishes, like when it hits the grave. So that's just good, and plus all of them are dark, so Dark Law isn't that hard to make. 1 Monster Reborn because I love bringing back Ultimate Conductor. I've already said it. He's my favorite card to bring back. Attack everything. Other than Purgatrio probably, but Ultimate Conductor is just a good card. Plus Monster Reborn is back. Why wouldn't you play it? It's such a good card. Twin Twisters. Send your Burning Abyss cards from your hand to the graveyard. Get their effects and basically pop 2 cards. Farfa and Twin Twisters is such awesome when you're going second because you pop 2 back row or maybe a field spell in the back row and then banish one of their monsters. It's super funny. Absolutely love it. Foolish Burial because you get to send anything to the grave you might need at the moment. Maybe a Fiendish Rhino Warrior, maybe a Skarm, maybe some a Graph, you know, Seer. So whatever you need is basically a Foolish Burial can get you there. 2 Pot of Desires because you don't really care what you banish. You need things in your hand to get your plays going. 1 Raigeki because board wipes are important. Double anti-spell because again going first, you do all your Burning Abyss stuff, then you set this. Then your opponent starts his turn, standby phase, activate anti-spell, and watch him cry. But for the most part, yeah, 2 anti-spell, 2 Solemn Strike, and 1 Solemn Warning because Solemn Warning is always live, and I absolutely love how this card plays. Actually, I had a funny play with my brother this weekend where he was playing anti-meta, and then he activates Solemn Warning on a card, and then your opponent activates Solemn Warning, so it was just a fun interaction to see. And Solemn Judgment, my bad guys. But yeah, Solemn Judgment is just such a good card, and that pretty much wraps it up for the 40 card main deck. And I feel pretty confident with it. You know, I've played it, I tested, and I liked it. The worst plays I've ever had is basically just like making Vanity's Fiend and like 1 back row probably. But I kind of like how the deck plays. It's pretty good. You have options. You don't have to necessarily just play Burning Abyss a certain way. And going second isn't too hard with the hand traps and you know, the ability that they can special summon in. So you have some versatility there. So I really like the deck. But let's move on to that extra deck. We play 1 Decode Talker because we can make them relatively easy. Underclock Taker. he's just a beast card. I really wish this card was super, and he lowers the attack of a monster in your opponent's field to a monster he points to. So worst case scenario, you lower a monster's attack in your opponent's side by like 1200 by any Burning Abyss monster you have. So that, yep, most likely Dante. Beatrice, because she's a beast, she sends any card from your deck to the graveyard during either player's turn except the turn you summon her, and she's pretty easy to summon. You just need one Dante, and you pretty much just discard a Burning Abyss. But talking about Dante, we played triple Dante at the Burning Abyss, Traveler of the Burning Abyss. He pretty much just detach a card, mill to top 3, and he gains 500. When he attacks, he switches to defense, and when he hits the grave, you get to add any Burning Abyss card from your deck to your hand. So that is absolutely awesome. I'm so glad we have him at 3. We are so fortunate here in the TCG to have him at 3, and you know, the more I play the deck, the more I really like the way Dante plays. But we played Dante's big bad version, Dante Pilgrim of the Burning Abyss, and pretty much you just make her with Beatrice, yeah. And then we play one Virgil, super really. Most of the time I really don't go into him. I go into him because of his discarding effect. So you can get a Burning Abyss effects off, and you get draw a card. So that's pretty cool. Now for the mass change targets, we play 2 Mass Hero Darklaw and 1 Mass Hero Koga, because it is funny that sometimes I do, from a Veiler I make Koga, and he's just a beast. Most people don't really see it coming, but yeah, it's pretty funny. So yeah, Mass Hero Koga is pretty cool. He gains 500 attack for each monster your opponent controls, and you can banish a hero, which we obviously don't play unless maybe you have a Darklaw on the field, and lower your opponent's monster by that attack. So let's say he's on the field with the Blue Eyes, he gains a 500 because your opponent controls a monster. Then you can banish a Darklaw and lower that Blue Eyes attack by 2400 for example's sake. But yeah, Koga's pretty beast. And then you play 1 Phantom Knights of Breaksword for any problematic cards, 1 Grand Pulse, he gets a big booty and he's pretty much an MST. Utopic Future, because if they don't have an out to him, and you can just, I've won games with Utopic Future by himself. So that's pretty cool. And I've made Dante and then sent Seer to the graveyard, brought back a Dante, and actually made both Dantes, XYZ both Dantes, as weird as that sounds, into Utopic Future. And when he attacks, he basically takes control of that monster. You take no battle damage. Whenever this card would be destroyed, you could detach a card instead. So that's pretty good. It saves you for like 2 to 3 turns, depending on how many, depending on which 2 you use. So yeah. And finally, 1 Acid Golem, because he is a rank 3 and he's an absolute beast. 3000 attack for a rank 3. Yeah, you don't have to tell me much, boys. I'm playing Acid Golem. He's pretty strong, so I just play him pretty much for his beefy stats. But that pretty much wraps it up for the extra deck. Let me know what you guys think in that comment section below. Is there any cards I should be playing? You know, are there any cards you guys would recommend? Is there anything that you guys see that you play in your decks that I maybe should be playing, or I should maybe get a look into? You know, I do read all comments, and I just want to thank everybody who watches the videos. It's super awesome. We just hit our first video with 1K views, the Magical Musketeer video, so that's absolutely awesome. Thank you guys to all the subscribers. I just want to take a moment to appreciate everybody who watches the channel, likes the videos, and thanks to all you guys. And maybe if you're new to the channel, you're watching this video, you want to join the Tier 0 family, feel free to join the Tier 0 family. We'd love to have you. Leave the comment below. Let me know what you guys think of the video. But for the most part, my name is Sesma. Catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.